All right. Hello, everybody, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Lauren Clements. I am the head of marketing at Pipestream, and I'm really excited to get started on our next Pipe Up webinar series. Today's topic is the next level service, personalizing automated customer experiences. And I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Winnie Yu. Winnie has been at Pipestream for 3 years. Prior to Pipestream, she worked at EY for 4 years as an advisory consultant, helping clients assess automation potential and manage large scale digital transformations. So, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Winnie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. I'm excited to be here to chat about personalizing customer experiences. Let me just share my screen. Go on to slideshow. Can you see that okay, Lauren?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, as Lauren mentioned, I work at Pipestream. It's a conversational AI company. We build digital assistants and chat solutions for a variety of top brands. A lot of my examples are going to relate to chat solutions, but these concepts relate to or can be applied to customer portals, IVR systems, and other customer engagement tools. We know that personalization is a key driver for some of the successes of companies like Netflix and Amazon. So I really want to kind of talk a little bit about how it's done, what is it, why do you need it, and some examples of how we do it at Pipestream. Um, we know that personalization happens in various different elements and and a lot of times customers are expecting it, right? So that's why I kind of wanted to dive into this topic. It's really exciting where we're going in the future with this. But briefly, my agenda is around the benefits around it, the different approaches, and again, sharing some experiences or examples of how we're doing it, and then the future of customer experience as well. So why should you have a personalization strategy? Customers enjoy tailored experiences. When they feel like when the company knows them, they feel very like they can trust the company, and they're more likely to purchase, basically. We know that that really resonates in their brand perception as well. You feel loyalty to some of these brands. So really, it's about making the customers feel like they know that, like the companies know them. But it also helps the companies themselves as well. When budget right now is always being considered, we know that hyper personalization can deliver up to 8 times the return on investment. So really considering a personalization strategy is really key in understanding your customers and how you can, leverage some of their preferences to really help them. I love this quote on the side from a Forbes article. The AI bot must be seen as the customer's assistant, not the company's. Each user has their own personal assistant able to interactively learn their individual preferences and situations. How great is that to have your own digital assistant, knowing all your ins and outs and recommending things and buying them for you too as well. So that's really important. As a person on the ground that implements these solutions, a lot of times we talk with the companies and understand their pain points and their operations needs, and the flood of information and requests from their customers. It's really key to understand on an individual basis what the customer needs, and so pivoting to that mindset that a customer engagement tool is really a personal concierge to that customer is really key. So some more benefits of personalization. Customers love when they enjoy a product. They love to know more. They love to discover more. And so having that personalization touch is really important for product discovery. Some people love to do the research, but some people don't want to do the research. They want to be told what they want or what new thing is coming on that is really similar to the other product that they had. And this really helps with customer retention as well. Bring them along the journey and evolution of your product offerings. In terms of business benefits, there's obviously plenty in terms of increasing sales and agile marketing and being able to cross-sell and upsell different items, working with your partnerships on that. Really, it's also about building stronger customer profiles too. So it's kind of a feedback loop. Once you set up a personalization strategy, you're really testing ideas and leveraging that data, but also gathering and collecting more information as well to build stronger customer profiles. So, this really helps with building, that whole customer strategy. Really sets you apart as well. If you think about several examples from a hi, how are you, to a hi, Winnie, how can I help you manage your account, to hi, Winnie, I noticed you have a 20 point on your rewards cards that's about to expire. Those three examples are very, very different, from generic to, they know where I need to go, to they know where I need to go, and they also know that something's about to expire and I really want to use that benefit. So those are all very different experiences, and it really drives a competitive edge for a business when they have that personal touch, especially when there's so many different product offerings on the market. It really sets you apart. And everyone's going digital. So having this kind of like human touch, that I know you, that I know you have some loyalty points, that you like to spend it here. Here's some recommendations, that really, really sets you apart. So now, what does personalization look like, right? There's opportunities across the entire customer journey. I mean, if you think about some of the micro moments that you have on a day to day, and those are when you're standing online waiting for something, or you're on a train or in an Uber ride, you're trying to make decisions very quickly, right? So personalization really helps you make that decision very quickly, to kind of get you from the beginning of one stage to the next stage, along this journey that I'm sharing on the screen. So looking for those opportunities is really key, and there are many around all these different stages. So if you think about the customer journey, you can kind of get the most at the point of purchase, and that's kind of the traditional way of gathering user data. But even before, in the awareness and consideration stages, there's lots of metadata that's exposed as well. So where the user's coming from. Is it from an email link, from an email campaign? So that this is a very specific demographic, or a different specific customer type. You can offer different marketing alerts and things like that. In terms of considerations, even if you don't have the customer data from their personal account, you can always ask them in terms of guided flows and what their recommendations are. These have been proven very valuable in terms of getting to a point of purchase much quicker. And you can see some of the examples that we have below. 21% of users for one of our retail customers make a purchase after using these product recommender tools. And this is prior to any user data available. And again, purchasing, lots of opportunities there in terms of pre-populated fields. How many times have you seen your credit card information pop up much quicker than you typing it in? And then also there's opportunities here in terms of, if you are logged in, you can get some dynamic pricing and offers as well. Retention is really huge as well, because once you're past that purchasing part, how do you maintain your product? How do you still continue to fall in love with this brand and this product? There's a lot of different ways in terms of customizing the support. As you can see from the example below, in the food service realm, once you're logged in and you have some type of complaint, you can get custom offers that relate to that specific meal that you had, and you can get it much quicker in an automated, personalized customer experience, versus opening a ticket and waiting to hear back from an email. Those types of personalization and type of support that's rapid and based off of data really helps in terms of customer retention and subscription renewals and things like that. And then advocacy as well. Loyalty programs have been pretty critical in the evolution of customer experience, in terms of understanding user preferences, and recommending new products and things like that. And those points kind of generation programs have been really helpful, in addition to kind of sharing some of those discounts as well, and then pre-populating kind of your address book of ways to send out discounts to certain things. So really, there are opportunities across this whole customer journey, and really just understanding that these are all micro moments that you're capturing, and the goal of this is helping the customer kind of make those decisions much quicker. So a little bit more about how customer experience is transformed. So obviously it's around data and personalization in terms of your your own data. Original marketing has started with kind of basic rules-based segmentation, sort of understanding, demographics and personas and kind of categorizing them, and emailing based off of those broad categories. But now we're moving into individualized messaging, individualized offerings, really, greeting people by name, and understanding their accounts and giving them specialized and contextual kind of products and service. And now, as we're introducing AI into the game, and it's really been around for quite a while now, it's getting into the predictive recommendations. So we know those key players, we know those Netflixes and Amazons, and so those are those companies that we're striving to beat. A lot of companies right now are hovering around the individualized messages and offerings, and what sets them apart is not just customer data, because we're gathering that, where we understand it, but it's really around the tech stack that's around it to be able to analyze it, and make interpretations and to organize it as well. So when I talk about the tech stack, it's also about authentication, it's about CRMs, it's about the AI tools that you're using to make these predictive recommendations. So a lot of that is growth in the technology space, and also having that user journey along with them and gathering more information along the way. Cool. And then now we're going to go into how do we personalize self-serve experiences. So I kind of mentioned it already a little bit, but it's around user access. And this is mainly around self-serve experiences, right? So your portals, your chat solutions, user access is key. We see a lot of drop off in these areas. And so strategically placing this is really important, and making it seamless. One really great example to do this is when you're inheriting an authentication token from a website. So you're seamlessly signed in a portal somewhere, and then you talk to a digital assistant, you're already signed in, already have your account ready to go. These are all really important micro moments that help the customer along, instead of getting caught into signing in again and things like that. Customer data, super important here. As mentioned, there's always the customer base's information, but then you can always fill in gaps with social media and kind of partnerships data as well. But customer data obviously is kind of the foundation of all of this, in terms of building personalized information. So these are login activities, browsing, just visiting and things like that. That's very key. And then curating designs. There's a couple of design principles that I'm going to talk about in terms of how you're going to target your customers, or how do you make targeted experiences for the customers in a seamless way. Again, a lot of times the customers are not don't even are expecting some of this, and they don't even notice that they're expecting it. They just know that they're frustrated because I had to sign in again, or I had to fill in this information again, or I'm looking at products that don't even make any sense, that aren't related to me. We understand their friction points more than we're acknowledging some of the benefits. And then again, analysis is the foundation of it all. It allows you to do A/B testing. It allows you to do proactive recommendations, and also forecasting as well. So there's a lot of opportunities on the revenue generation side and also the support side. But a really great example for customer support is in streaming, a lot of times we're having a lot of troubleshooting issues. So understanding weather data, understanding where the user is, and that something's about to crash, some network issues about to happen. These proactive moments are really, really key, and being able to forecast it is something extra for the customers. These really sets you apart from other competitors in the market. So let's go into some examples. One example in terms of commuting on your commuting card, a transit commuter logs into their account to review their trip history. They're trying to just see, they might have double charged or something like that. They once log in, and then the solution provides a proactive card summary, and you notice that there's a low balance account. So you can fix it right away, and then reduce the friction of when you're trying to use it at the actual station. So commuters coming in to resolve a card issue and actually executed a different task. This is a very good experience in terms of the customer feeling like the brand knows them and is trying to help them in terms of their commuting experience. Another great example for revenue generation, here's a streaming one as well, in terms of looking for different packages. That can be sometimes frustrating in terms of, which favorite shows are on which packages. Having product recommendations based off of history and your preferences really allows them to quickly upgrade to a new tier instead of, a typical kind of browsing cycle on e-commerce platform is around a week or so. You come in on Monday, you're looking for something, you think about it, and then you probably buy it on a Friday or something like that. Having these recommendations allows you to shorten that cycle a lot. Personalization design principles. And so, as I mentioned before, really key in understanding your customer journey and customer personas as well. But we're trying to upgrade from that. There's a key difference between hyper personalization and personalization. And personalization is thinking about that traditional sense of personas and segmentation. But hyper personalization brings in the data element, really brings in that individualization. So I'm not just a data point in time in this category. You're actually looking at all of the data points and how it actually changed over time. I'm changing my show preferences on Netflix, and Netflix is figuring that out in real time. So some personalization design principles to kind of get you to that moment, and to not get you to that moment if you don't have those analytics tools ready. There are other ways in terms of finding contextual opportunities. So what the first design principle is around preserving context across the journey. So this is a fairly easy one. We know that a customer just signed in and they're a certain member type. No need to show any other menus that don't relate to them or something that they've already done before. These are kind of experiences that customers really appreciate. That there's not a lot of items that are impacting their cognitive load of understanding and where they need to go next. And then predicting next steps is, again, trying to get through the stages, in an efficient way. So having call to action buttons that lead them into the next stage is very, very important. And again, if leveraging dynamic guided flows is helpful as well when you don't have that data point. Right, we don't know where they are in the stage. Here, let me gather some information, and then once you get to the sale point, you can always pull in that information. So the next one is leveraging data securely in the right place at the right time. It's pretty similar in terms of autofilling existing data. If a user had mentioned that they like a certain type of product, that information should be pulled in. A really good example in terms of customer support is when a chat solution is handed off to an agent for an additional support or a complex task. All that information is kind of pulled in the agent perspective, including their name and then the requests as well. So the agent doesn't need to ask information anymore. It kind of has a seamless support, and so really is helpful for the user to get them on their way. Using external data to fill in gaps, and so leveraging social media and other information to really understand, the customer's persona or background is really helpful. Proactive messaging and opportunities. Kind of mentioned this in the transit example, but this is really helpful in terms of special deals and offers at checkout. And then also from a customer support, service alerts and disruption notifications. So in a transit example, if someone's using a certain train, typically, using a certain train for commuting, it's really helpful when you start your day that service is down for a couple of hours in the morning. That really helps you get you along your day. And then identifying user trends to drive recommendations. So this is that whole predictive opportunity, right? And again, using analytics is pretty key here in terms of understanding what the user preferences are and driving their recommendations. And it's really helpful here, as I mentioned, to be doing certain tests in terms of your different tactics, and then also looking for forecasting opportunities. So these are just things to think about at each step of the journey, and how you can help the customer along the way, and really make it an enjoyable experience as they're getting help or they're shopping for something in particular. So a little bit about the future of customer experience. There's a lot of advancements happening in terms of brands, there's a lot of strategic partnerships happening. That seems to be key in building better customer experiences. So Delta's relationship with Lyft, so getting you to the airport, those kind of partnerships are really critical. And you're not just thinking of customer journey from just the airport's perspective. You're going beyond that, and so those internet connections between the different brands is really helpful for the customers and really helpful for the companies as well in terms of expanding your opportunities. Interconnection across channels. This is kind of that omni-channel experience. Understanding it's one thing for a portal or a digital assistant to know all your information, not know all your, but like have context for your information. But it's also walking into a store and it's really awesome when Sephora knows that I buy a certain eyeliner, and do I want to buy it again, or do I want to go with a different brand? So those are all very, very helpful to building a better customer experience. And then there's going into voice and conversational interfaces like chat solutions. Those are just an extension of the different channels, but those are being leveraged more and more as a personal assistant. Having that voice and the ease of just speaking about a certain request or doing a certain type of research is really, really important. And then augmented and virtual reality is really helpful in terms of, I want to see how my West Elm bed fits in this bedroom. Really bringing in and understanding how the products fit into your life is really key here. And so you'll be seeing that a lot more in the customer experiences, those virtual kind of interactions. And again, going back full circle into that quote, just virtual personal shoppers. So bridging the gap between the different brands and bridging the gap into, I'm not there physically, how do I see it? And just expanding that customer journey across your whole kind of lifestyle. That is kind of the future of customer experience. That is my last slide in my overview of personalization. I'll hand it back to you, Lauren, if there's any questions.
There are questions. Thank you so much, Winnie. That was really insightful. I think I totally agree that everybody needs a personal assistant or a personal shopper. It's like the beauty of tech is you can kind of have these things that were never really accessible to you before. So um, I think the question that really is interesting to me that has come up from our watchers is thinking about the ethical considerations and privacy concerns. So, I mean, obviously, you're using our personal data, our buying behaviors, maybe even sometimes looking into things like our social media channels. So, can you talk a little bit about how companies are making sure that those things they're still mindful of those things, even though the personalization has obvious benefits to us as consumers?
Absolutely. And so a lot of it is around kind of along the whole ecosystem. There are security policies, right? When we talk about customer data, we always think about the CRMs in the world of Salesforce, and all of those are housed securely, and that's why it's so important about the user access portion as well. Since having those tools available, that really helps us in terms of security and tracking and fraud as well, and preventing fraud. In terms of companies like Pipestream and chat, and customer engagement tools, it's really important to be building a secure kind of ecosystem. And because a lot of it is based off of integrations into these CRMs, a lot of this data is not stored with these customer engagements, and it's stored within the secure CRMs. There's also a lot of certain policies that when you're working and collaborating with customers, we need to be mindful of. Obviously, when we work overseas with our European customers, we have to adhere to GDPR policies. And then there's also ways that we do it in the interaction as well, being highly secure. So just masking and not showing PII, and just bringing up to the customers that we have. We know your account in star 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 4 digits, and then proceeding from there. So being very careful with PII is key here. but yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of security policies in place, so we're not abusing data. And there's a rise in more ethical considerations in terms of sharing data between companies. So that is definitely a trend, and making it more secure for our customers.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, that gives me a lot of comfort. So I appreciate it. Okay, well, I think that's it for us today. We definitely have more of these pipe up webinars coming. We've heard that people really enjoy them, so we're going to keep doing them monthly. So watch this space for the next one. Have a great Thanksgiving for those of you in the United States.
Thank you.